My coverage of CES 2019 is brought to you by Corsair, Enermax, Deepcool, and Cooler Master. Hey guys, I'm at the Lian Li suite now. We're at Caesar's Palace. They have a few new cases, as well as a pretty fancy concept designed for a desk PC. I'm going to show you all these things. So Lian Li has quite a few desks that are also computer cases and that are also vert desks, which is very convenient in a lot of ways. If you want to put your computer in your desk, you can do it. This is the DK04, which they've actually shown before. There's a fair amount of reflection in here. Sorry about that, but you can see there's a pretty awesome system. But then they also gave me this remote control and they said, hey, push the button. Where'd the computer go? Wait, there it is. Now it's gone. Now it's there. Now it's gone. I'm just going to keep doing this. That's what the rest of this video is going to be, is me doing this. Okay, you get the point. I'm being told there's two names for this technology. You can call it magic glass if you're an Apple fan, or electric current conductive glass. Point being, electric current causes it to get very opaque and you can't see the computer anymore. They're actually saying they want to do this so it completely hides the computer and you can't see any of the light shining through. So, you know, if your house gets broken into and you need to hide your desk computer, you can do it very quickly. So guys, let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in this type of technology for a vert desk. Now, I've done a few builds in the O11 Dynamic. This is the Razer Edition that they've been working on, and it's very similar to the O11 Dynamic in many ways, but they have added some RGB strips. Actually, an RGB strip along the edge here that sort of shines through so you can see it over on the left side too, which is kind of cool. You have an etched Razer logo across the front. This is actually a special etching technique. Like, you can't feel it at all. It's inside the glass. Even if you went to the other side of this, you can't feel the etching at all, which is cool. Lastly, they've also integrated a control module so you can plug this in and use the Razer Synapse software to control your RGB lighting. So that's the O11 Dynamic Razer Edition. It's going to be selling for about $169. Here's a cool little case. This is the TU150, and this is still in the prototype stages. But if you guys remember, back when I used to do Newegg TV videos, we built a computer that we called the Handler, which was in a Lian Li case that had a handle on the top. This is sort of a follow-up to that, and it also has a handle on the top. I love small cases that are also portable and that you can easily carry around. And again, while this is a prototype, there's the handle. Just pops out off the top, then you can lift up the whole case to carry it around, or drop it, I guess, if you're Linus. Beyond the handle design, you have a pretty direct airflow path from the front of the case directly back for your components. The GPU is located fairly close to the bottom. That is a pretty fat Zotac GPU that they have in there right now, but there is plenty of ventilation down there to also allow some airflow to that. And they currently have it set up with an air cooler. They said this is more designed for like office environments or that sort of thing, which is interesting since it's got tempered glass, but they're not necessarily expecting you to put a full water-cooled system in here. It's more designed for air coolers, so it supports air coolers with heights up to 175 millimeters. Side panel also pops off very easily here. I really like side panels that come off that way. And there's a quick look at your cable management. Not a ton of space back there, but enough for routing your major cables. And they put a little bit of extra space up here where the power supply goes for the main plugs. By the way, the Razer Edition case down there is expected to launch very soon and within the next month or two. The little TU150 here is supposed to launch in Q1, so expected by March at the latest. And then lastly for cases is a new version of the O11 Dynamic, or a refresh of the old O11 WGX. Either way you look at it. This is the O11 WGX ROG certified V2. So they're working with ROG to make this an ROG certified case. That's why you might notice some of the ROG branding on the sides and some of the ROG artwork going down the sides too. Also down the sides, note that there's two USB 3.0 ports down there at the bottom, a couple more USB 3.0 ports up here, as well as the Type-C, USB 3.1 Gen 2. And Lian Li said that was so that if you have the case on the floor, which you shouldn't do, you can access the upper ones, or if you have the case up on a desk or something, you'd have access to the lower ones. I just like the fact that you could actually plug in dual USB 3.0 front panel connectors, because a lot of motherboards have that now, but you can't actually connect it to your case to make use of those ports. Beyond that, the idea here was to update the O11 WGX to bring it in line with a lot of the feature updates that they added to the O11 Dynamic. The O11 Dynamic is a little bit more of an ATX case. It does support eATX, but it's just a little bit smaller. So here, they've made it a little bit taller and a little bit wider, so that's going to help address a few issues. For one, in the back for rear exhaust, you can do full-size 120 millimeter fans, and that's pretty nice. And then as far as internal spacing for graphics cards, if you're using like an aftermarket GPU that's a bit thicker, and especially if you're water cooling it with a GPU block that has, you know, terminals on the end, sometimes that can be too wide to fit in the O11 Dynamic. So this one is made wider, so if you're doing a crazy GPU setup with SLI or aftermarket cooled cards, or just really overbuilt cards that tend to be larger, it will actually fit. And of course, you still get the vertical brackets, so you can mount them that way too. Here's another another cool feature for water coolers. That is a removable radiator bracket that's at the bottom of the case. So this is a popular area for intake, or just another space to put a 280mm rad or 3x120. It does up to 360, and having that be removable is very convenient, especially if you're dealing with a very heavy system that has water cooling components in it and you want to build without having to lay the case on its side. And then here on the opposite side, you'll notice there's a bit more space for drive cages. They have a larger cable management cover that goes right there. And then to provide you some flexibility for the fan mounts right here, they're also working on these little adapters. And these are just plastic. Again, these are prototypes, but they said they're going to make them metal. This will just allow you to put a 3.5 inch or 2.5 inch drive if you're not going to be populating all of these areas with fans. And now we're back over at the Razer Edition case, so we can look at this all-in-one cooler that Lian Li has also been working on. So they've developed this so that they can make their own all-in-one, and to do that they have a pump that's actually located up in this area right here. That does make it a little bit wider, so there's the length here on the 240mm all-in-one is a little bit longer, but not in such a way that it should cause great conflicts or anything like that. And then they've also done a fairly unique design here for the cooler itself. As you can see, RGB lighting behind this little panel, and if you want more RGB lighting, just remove it. And now there's lots of RGB lighting, as well as the Lian Li logo. And if you don't like all that RGB, it's got a magnet, so you just pop that right back on. So cheers, guys. Lian Li forced me to drink this beer. Actually, I didn't really drink it. It's like 10 a.m. right now, but cheers anyway. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. That's my coverage of the Lian Li suite here at Caesars. We're at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada. Thank you for watching my CES 2019 coverage. And of course, a huge thank you to my sponsors for this event, Cooler Master, Corsair, Enermax, and Deep Cool. We'll see you guys in the next video. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out and enjoy the rest of your time watching CES videos.